When it comes to the LSAT, how do you get your score higher? Now, we all know that the LSAT is the most powerful factor in getting you into law school, which is why we spend so much time and energy studying for it. But in today's video, we are met with Ben Olson and Nathan Fox, the founders of LSATdemon.com, where their motto is don't pay for law school, to share with us 3 secrets to really rack up that LSAT score so that you not only master the test, get into law school, but you also don't pay for law school. Ben and Nathan, thank you guys so much for joining us and for sharing your LSAT secrets with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So number one is how to get faster. And the secret is to ignore the clock. I mean, boy, this is what everyone does when they first start studying for the LSAT. They do 15 questions in the 35 minutes. They don't finish the section. They immediately think that their problem is not finishing. And so then they try to go faster. But what you should do when you start a logical reasoning section or a reading comp section is you should start the section, turn off the clock, practice ignoring it, and focus on doing one section at a time and recognize that no one finishes. In fact, there are people who score 178 or higher, the highest scores on the test, and they don't necessarily finish. If they're not finishing and you're scoring in the 150s, you have no business trying to finish. That is a secret because it's counterintuitive to what the vast majority of people are trying to do.
Yeah, it's the fundamental paradox of the LSAT is that you actually need to slow down in order to speed up. We want you to time yourself. We want you to practice with a ticking clock, but we want you to learn to ignore the clock. So you start the time section, you hit the timer, it goes away. By the way, that's how the real LSAT works. You can turn off the timer. You don't have to have the numbers counting down on the screen all the time. You can click it, it goes away, and then you just focus on solving one question at a time. The irony is, if you do it that way, you'll end up going faster in the long run, and you'll get paid for all the work you do instead of half-assing every question and, only getting paid for half of the work you do.
That makes so much sense, guys. And what about secret number 2?
Secret number 2 is that logical reasoning on the LSAT, which now, by the way, is 2/3 of the test. There's 2 sections of logical reasoning and 1 section of reading comprehension. 2/3 of the test, logical reasoning, is all about calling bullshit. If they're making an argument, and I mean, this is the fun way to do the test, by the way. If they're making an argument, you need to catch, hey, wait a second. I'll give you credit for your evidence, but I see that you're trying to make a conclusion from that evidence that's not really warranted. And all you have to do is say, this argument is bullshit because blank. And you just fill it in there. It's like, well, they had data about something really small, like they had 2 examples of this, and then they made a conclusion about every single person in the United States. And that's just not a warranted assumption. What other kinds of bullshit calling, Ben, do we find on the LSAT?
Oh, all sorts of things, right? If the evidence is about a correlation between 2 things and then the conclusion says, oh, well, then one of them must cause the other, that's bullshit. That's not necessarily true. Things that happen together don't necessarily have a causal relationship. And so you recognize that and you identify that as the problem. That is the step, and this is why this is a secret, that is the step that the vast majority of test takers skip right over. They read the argument and they go, okay, got the argument. They read the question and then they start going into the answers looking for something that sounds good. They're like, oh, okay, well, what could be the problem here? You need to flip this and become the driver in the driver's seat by owning and understanding the argument and why it is bullshit. And if you can do that, which it's going to slow you down, but if you can do that, it's going to make everything so much easier beyond that point.
Fantastic. Thank you guys so much for number 2. And what about this final secret to improving your LSAT score, number 3?
Yeah, so on the reading comprehension section, the secret is that all the questions are really just must-be true questions. They are fundamentally just asking you, given what you just read in that passage, which has anywhere from 15 to 16 sentences, what must be true on the basis of those sentences? That's it. It's a reading comprehension test. It's just asking you, hey, what's got to be true given what you just read? And so if you can recognize that, the section becomes a lot easier because people are overcomplicating these questions. They read things like what must be inferred, and they try to think about, what could I glean or guess might be true given what was said, and that's not what they're asking.
Yeah, they hide it. On logical reasoning, they ask you different questions. They'll ask you to strengthen, they'll ask you to weaken, they'll give you a set of facts sometimes, and they'll just say, hey, which one must be true based on that set of facts. But on reading comp, they essentially 26 out of 27 questions are just asking you, hey, did you understand what you read? I mean, it's reading comprehension. It says it right in the name. Did you comprehend what you read? But they hide it with weird language. So they do this thing where they say, it can be inferred from the passage that the author would be most likely to agree with which one of the following. And smart students read that and they go, oh, okay, so you want me to read between the lines and you want me to speculate on what the author might agree with. And it's like, no, you're missing the part of that question that said from the passage. It can be inferred from the passage that the author would be most likely to agree with which one of these. In other words, which one did it say in the passage? It's just like a fancy way of saying, hey, which one must be true according to that passage.
Yeah. One last thing to think about here is that when you find the correct answer for a question in reading comprehension, you can always point back to something in the passage to justify that answer.
There's evidence there in the passage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, guys. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. I know you guys have been teaching this test for decades. And so where can people go to find more?
I'll give you one more bonus secret on the way out the door, which is that the LSAT is actually easy. If you go to lsatdemon.com, I think you will start to see why. We have copious free resources there. Just sign up for a free LSAT Demon account. You'll start getting invited to free classes. You'll see all of our videos, written explanations. You'll be able to work on real LSAT questions. But our primary mission in LSAT instruction is just to show you how easy it actually is. So it's just lsatdemons.com. Oh, and the Thinking LSAT podcast.
Yes, and I love y'all's motto too, which is don't pay for law school, which is the whole point of doing really well on the LSAT. Not only that you can get into law school, of course, but that ideally you can get scholarship money to cover your entire tuition.
Yeah, maybe Ben, you could say a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's secret number 5. The price of law school is not the actual price of law school. Lots and lots of people get huge discounts. Schools call them scholarships, but a lot of people go for free. A lot of people even get paid to go to law school. So you got to go to lsatdemon.com/scholarships to figure that out and see what the actual price of law school is.
That's amazing. Well, thank you guys so much. And I'll drop all your links in the description, guys, so you can go check that out. And I appreciate you guys coming by and sharing your wisdom with us today.
Thank you, Angela.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye, guys. See you in the next one.